As you know, I was also a candidate for school board, and I congratulate those who were voted in, and I wish you the bravery and the strength to do what is right for the district. After running, all I heard was that I need to join this club or this civil social organization, and it occurred to me that this may be how this board is viewed. This is not a civil social organization. It is the most important unpaid job in the city. It requires trusting what you're being told is the truth, but also educating yourself and immersing yourself in the district enough to verify that what you're being told by the office of the superintendent is actually true. When I heard statements about how friendly the board is with each other and generic, I support this without any actual plans or ideas and random statistics thrown out, it was word for word what I was told by the office of superintendent when I sat down to talk. I'm not saying that you were given talking points, but I am saying that having no variation in your statements gives the impression that you were deferring to the office of the superintendent rather than looking into things for yourself. Now that's dangerous for several reasons, but here's why it's dangerous for you, because this is how this grift works. Many of you have dedicated yourselves to community service and building a good name for yourself, and it is this reputation that you have built that is the shield. When stories of terrible mistreatment arise, people say, oh, I know so-and-so from blah, blah, blah club, they wouldn't let that happen, but it does happen. And it's detailed in this stack of affidavits signed by teachers and some students. And when it all comes crashing down, it's all going to be on you, because the office of the superintendent is going to say everything was done with the full support and approval of the Board of Education. Now that leads us to the next question of what the reality is for you board members. You either know that this hostile work environment exists and approve of it, know of it and have been made to feel like you're powerless to do anything about it, or you really have no idea what is going on in the doors of the schools. Those are the only options. Only one of those answers is somewhat acceptable. I personally believe it's that you've been made to feel powerless, and I base that on the amount of time you spend in closed session, which I can only assume is spent primarily on legal matters. From 1980 to 2012, there were 4 employment discrimination lawsuits filed against the district. In the 8 years since, starting in November of 2013, when the current superintendent took office, through 2021, there have been 16 in four cases in 32 years and 16 in the past 8, with many of those being settled, including one for over $600,000. 3 of those have been elevated to federal court, and an additional 10 have been student settlements. You hear the 85% retention rate of teachers thrown around, then why is the average experience for our teachers over the past 5 years stayed at 11 years of experience? Our teachers with advanced degrees has dropped during that time to 60%. Our inexperienced teacher rates have increased. Our out-of-field teachers have increased to a whopping 10% in Title I schools. And for principals, the inexperienced out-of-field rate is equal to an astonishing 25%. Proficiencies in English, math, science, and social studies for 2019 was 44%, 35%, 36%, and a generously estimated 55%. You'll hear that nobody meets these, or that these are problems all districts have, but that is also a lie. Blue Springs, Lee Summit, and Liberty have all experienced increases in professional staff experiences. 78 to 80% of their teachers have advanced degrees. Their inexperienced teacher rates average between 2 and 5%, and their out-of-field teacher rates are less than 0.5%. Out-of-field principals are almost unheard of, and even inexperienced principal levels are comparatively low. And you know what? They perform better. Blue Springs did not score lower than 60% on any proficiency metrics. All these come from the Missouri Board of Education district report cards. And that's not even mentioning students and what they go through. We just had a huge walkout and a well-deserved walkout on Friday from Van Horn students. Right after the election, I had an alumni come up to me and say that since 8th grade, she has known every year of one faculty member that has had a relationship with an underage student. And we're sitting here, and you can hide that stuff from parents, but these kids are talking about it. How can they feel safe in their schools? Okay, and you sit here and say we're getting rid of the bad apples. Okay, we're letting our teachers go that have master's degrees. Please do better.